Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Overnight Action Report. We'll take a look at all of the action in Asia here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. It was an eventful evening, to say the least. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the Nikkei, we're going to jump right in. It was down 1.4%, down 264 at 18,597.10. Now, we had noted in the closing bell, we're going to watch Japan very closely. It's been weak for the last 6-7 sessions. We saw that when it initially broke a couple weeks ago. It's 20 and 50-day moving average and just has not been able to get momentum. That's also where we saw dollar strength resume or actually break, and you saw yen strength resume in Japan. That has put a lot of pressure on Japanese stocks with the strong yen, and that continued overnight. As a matter of fact, not only was the yen strength drawing the market down, but the move in the U.S. markets with a very hawkish stance by the Federal Reserve minutes from the last meeting really just shook the markets towards the end of the day here in the States. That really shook the markets in Japan as well. We'll watch that. Export names and banks were under some pressure and were continuing to be under pressure in the Japanese markets. And again, watch FXY. This is an ETF that tracks the Japanese yen. That has been trending to the upside for the last couple of weeks. You've seen that it's traveled up the upside. It's above its 20-day and its 50-day moving average. Yen strength is putting pressure on Japanese stocks. Also, we're going to see what comes out of the weekend meeting with President Trump and President Xi. As a matter of fact, let's jump in and take a look at China. China actually was impressive overnight. The Chinese market, specifically the Shanghai Composite, actually finished up about around 1060, well, exactly 1069 at 3281 even, up 0.3%. You can see that the Chinese markets have been moving to the upside. Now, this was very interesting to see this action in the Chinese markets. Obviously, we have the two-day meeting starting between President Xi and President Trump down in Mar-a-Lago. And that is going to have everybody on notice. We'll watch for headlines from that. The other thing that we saw overnight in China was they came out with their coaxium services PMI, and it actually was a little bit lower than expected. And we're starting to get some mixed PMI data coming out of the Asian region. And came out at 52.2. The expectation was coming out at 53.2. Now, with PMIs, one thing that you want to note is anything above 50 is showing growth and expansion. And anything that stays above that level is still relatively positive. So while it came in lower than expectations, it's above that level of 50, which we would then say, well, they're anticipating at least expansion as far as growth is concerned. So I just wanted to put that out there so that as you start to hear these PMIs, understand that anything north of 50 is relatively positive. But pulling back now, that has raised some eyebrows. Also, Asia Bank did raise their GDP forecast for China to 6.5%. That's about a 10% increase from their original forecast, which was 6.4%. We did see, though, some mixed action in Hong Kong. Hong Kong finished down 127 at 24,273.70. I think that services number did rock Hong Kong markets a little bit more. Also, their manufacturing PMI came out, and for the third consecutive time, it came out under 50. It was at 49.9, right? So that we're actually seeing what would be considered contraction potentially on the forefront for Hong Kong as far as their manufacturing PMI is reflecting. That's not a positive. The market reacted negatively to that. And again, like I said, this is the third consecutive PMI that has come out that has been below 50. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on that. And then finally, India. India right now is bumping its head up against resistance. And as a matter of fact, you could see that yesterday it finished down 46 at 29,927. Really what's notable here is that they left interest rates flat at 6.25%. But they did do the reverse purchase interest rate. They did bump that up to 6% from 5 3/4. So there is some repurchase interest rate components that are starting to put the market on notice, and we'll have to watch that very closely. But Indian has been very positive as far as its movement to the upside. A little bit stuck here, and we're going to have to keep an eye on that very closely. All right, folks, that is it for the overnight action report for Asia. I'm going to be back at 8:45 Eastern time when we're talking about everything that's happening in Europe. See you then here at MarketStream.live.